we are going to continue on with the body, mind, and spirit. And of course, we're dealing with fasting right now. And maybe at the end of the meeting, I'll go around and get an accountability check for those that gave up one item or two items for their breakfast. Also, next meeting is right on Veterans Day. So I'm going to do a special Zoom celebration for veterans right here in the meeting. If y'all see that picture I got up there, that's a picture of me when I was in the Navy as a young boy, I'd say, and my captain, Captain Johnson, probably the first and only Black captain that I ever had or had seen in the Navy.
Welcome, everybody. Hello. It's nice to see you all after all the breaks that we've had, and this is going to be very exciting because I want to take off from where we left off last time. So I'm Dr. Jamnadas, Cardiovascular Interventions, as you all know, and our mission here is to enhance knowledge about diet and how we can change the health of everybody. This is a new paradigm. This is not just about medication. This is about what we've done to ourselves. And you all today will learn about why we cannot stick to a right diet, or if we've tried it, how come it didn't work on us? What happened? Why can't we stick to the plans? We know what's right. You know what's right for you, but you can't do it. And today I'm going to tell you why you can't do it. So let's just dive right into it, okay? So today's topic is why most diets and fasting programs fail. Because I've been doing this for so many years. It's true. It fails. It fails over and over again. And the question is why. So here we go. This is one of my favorite slides, okay? This shows our evolutionary process. And as you can tell over there, we are the fellow right at the end over there. And what's happened to us? Something has changed. I use this term, we have hormonally changed. Our hormones have changed. Our habits have changed. Our environment has changed. Our food has changed. And look, this is what it's created for us. This is exactly where we're all heading. And we have to get out of this. So, now, a patient comes and says, I tried, doc. After 2 days, I couldn't do this anymore. And then you go into more and more questions. Why? You know you have a problem. And you know that dieting and fasting is needed. There is a problem. And you know what you need to do about it. You've done it before, perhaps, but you can't stick to it. You fail your program. And then you get mad that you failed. You give up. You have tremendous cravings for the food. And you have cravings for certain activities, you can't function, you have no willpower. And you say, oh, well, doc, I just can't do it. And that's not true, because actually, you may feel awful, you feel terrible, you get headaches, you get chills, you get mental fog, disorientation, sweating, anxiety, poor performance, irritability, and depression. Now, don't tell me that those of you who have tried this have not felt these symptoms. You have felt these symptoms. And your relationships suffer. So many people tell me that I have a problem at home with my spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend or even a parent, and the relationships suffer. And then they feel terrible and they blame it on the low sugar. I'm having a low blood sugar. That's why I'm feeling so terrible, doc. And then you feel better. You go and eat again. You go and grab something. You feel so much better. Ah, I felt so good now, right? And say, oh, I got back my sugar. So you blame that sugar. And then you start feeling guilty. Then you're ashamed that you couldn't do it. You start hating yourself. You become isolated. And some people actually make themselves isolated. And then sometimes they feel terrible. Others don't feel bad. They're actually well-functioning addicts. Well-functioning addicts. There are addicts that are walking around. They may have gambling addiction, or they may have sexual addictions, or they may have even cocaine or drug addictions, and they're functioning just fine. You'd never know about it. But suddenly the wife finds that there's a whole lot of bottles in the bathroom, or all of a sudden you find out that, oh my God, he's got this gambling habit, and all of a sudden there's no money to pay the bills. There are functioning addicts. A lot of us could be functioning addicts as well. So I'm going to show you that some of these symptoms that you are having actually is because there is a subtle very subtle onset of addiction. It is so insidious, you don't even know it's happening to you. You don't even know it's happening. So perhaps you're addicted to food. Perhaps you are addicted to food. We don't think about it that way. Perhaps I can't do this because I am addicted. And is it the type of food? Is it a component in the food? And are there substances in the food that cause an addiction? Or is it because the food has been converted into a product and therefore it's no longer food? So today I'm going to try to throw some light on this. There are foods that will addict you. There are components in the food that will addict you. And yes, it's a product. You are consuming products, not food. And because you're consuming a product, you become addicted to it. There's chemicals in it. There's substances in it. The formation of it has changed. The consistency of the food has changed. And hence, it's no longer real food. And therefore, perhaps you are being addicted. So let's go and take a look at some more. So the importance of eliminating processed foods. Why? Why is processed food so bad? I blame processed foods for possible addiction. Processed foods cause high insulin levels. We've talked about that in my previous talks. It causes weight gain. It causes metabolic syndrome, toxicity and inflammation in the body, intestinal dysbiosis. What does intestinal dysbiosis mean? Which means that the bacteria in your intestines, they change as a result of what's getting down there into the stomach and into the intestines. So because your bacteria change, you change. Because you are a symbiotic relationship between your physiology and the physiology of the bacteria. So perhaps they changing. As a result of their changes, can you get addicted? Yes, you can. Are there chemicals released by those bacteria that get released into your bloodstream and can affect your physiology? And the answer is a definite yes. Because remember that almost 50% of the micronutrients that are floating around in your body have been either manipulated or produced by the bacteria in your gut, and then it gets into your bloodstream. So don't think that your physiology is just your physiology. It's your physiology is a sum total of yours plus all the physiology of the bacteria and everything that it's doing. You're a symbiotic relationship. So that's very important. And could addiction cause behavioral disorders? Of course it does. Behavior changes when you're addicted. Just think about it. If someone is addicted to cocaine, for example, or intravenous heroin, his entire behavior is going to change. There's going to be denial. He's going to be doing certain things that you would never expect him to do. He's going to be manipulative. This is so important that in order for me to talk about weight loss, in order for me to talk about maintaining your diet and changing your physiology and your biochemistry and your hormones, I got to talk about some addiction. Because I want to reverse my metabolic syndrome, I want to reverse diabetes, I want to reverse sleep apnea, I want to reduce the risk of cardiovascular disease, degenerative joint disease, dementia, and even some cancers. Because if we do not lose weight, if we do not metabolically get back to the way we need to be, we are in deep trouble. Losing weight is not the only goal. Let me explain something to you. If we change your biochemistry and you change your metabolism, weight loss is going to happen. Because it's not a weight loss program. You're basically changing your physiology and you're changing your hormones, and weight loss is just a side effect of it. And automatically your weight goes to where it needs to go to. What changed it first was the biochemistry, the hormones, and your entire body's system changes. Then the weight loss happens. So, what are processed foods? How do you define a processed food? This is so important. This is of utmost importance. We should be telling this to all the children who are watching. Processed foods, they are not found in nature. Not found in nature. So anything that's in a packet, a box, manufactured in a factory, that comes ready-made, that's a product. Are you going to continue to consume products? Because if you do, there's a good chance you're going to get addicted. Combination of substances that are not found in nature. For example, combination of fat and sugar. Name me one substance that's in nature that is fat plus sugar. Name one. Can you name one? There's not one substance that occurs in nature with that type of combination. Now, when the body sees these combination of nutrients coming in, how's it going to react?
Just to interject right there, you all. That's why I talk about God's food so much. God's food, because just what he's saying, all of these chemicals and things that are in this processed food is not good. It's not good at all for us. It's harming our body. So the closer you can get to God's food or plant source food that's coming right out the ground, the better off you're going to be. And you're not going to get caught up in these addictions, like he's saying. I mean, I know a lot of y'all might not realize that food is an addiction. And he's going to talk about sugar a little later. And sugar is also a drug. I was saying this way back, like 15, at least 15 years ago, because I wrote an article on sugar, and I'll share that with y'all after class. But sugar is a drug, and it has, side effects just like crack cocaine or just like heroin does. All of those hard drugs have side effects and stuff and things that harm us, and so does sugar.
Amen.
So there's lots of biochemistry I can talk about. I can talk about the mitochondria, and the mitochondria has been bombarded by the sugar, but then along come the fats also. It's causing like a congestion on a highway, and these poor mitochondria cannot function properly. And what symptoms you're going to get when you get mitochondrial dysfunction? You're going to get fatigue and tiredness and lack of energy. I'm just giving you one example. But these combinations, these unnatural combinations, cause an unnatural reaction in your body. The body is superbly designed to handle nutrients in certain combinations as they come in. For example, I've talked to you about fiber before. I told you that there are two types of fiber, soluble and insoluble fiber. So when the fiber is mixed in with the food that's naturally produced, the fiber goes in, it forms a little mesh in the duodenum so that the sugar that's mixed in and the carbohydrates that's mixed in with the food does not get exposure to the K cells in the duodenum. So the duodenum doesn't see all that sugar, so it doesn't send a signal via GIP to the pancreas to say, hey, give me all the pancreatic juices you got, give me all the insulin you possibly got. It doesn't do that. There's a small reaction. So the pancreas produces a small amount of insulin. Why? Because the fiber prevented that sudden surge in the insulin production. And then as the food goes down, it slowly gets absorbed. So there's this nice slow dissipation of the nutrients into the bloodstream. That doesn't happen when you eat foods without fiber, without its natural state. You see, nature makes these packages because it's designed that way. And we then have our body, because we evolved in this way 2.5 million years ago with those nutrients, to be able to handle those in that package, the way it comes. So the combinations of fat and sugar are an unnatural combination, modified by man, made into a product such as flour. There's no such thing as flour out there in nature. The steel mill got invented, as I told you all before, in the year 1860-something. And since then, the incidence of degenerative joint disease, heart attacks, myocardial infarction, and diabetes gone off the roof. Look, even when you masticate your food, the mastication produces a certain amount of grinding down of the food, but it never makes it into a powder. There's no way you got that great teeth, do you? I don't have that kind of teeth either. So what happens is that this powderized stuff gets right in there and creates this tremendous surge in hormones because it doesn't know what to do with it. This is totally unnatural. Now, if you give pellets to the rats, their response in hormones, their weight, activity, everything's totally different than if you give them the same food in a powderized form. Same grams, same weight, but in a powderized way. So the more refined the product is, the greater the release all of a sudden. So all flour, in my opinion, all flour should be avoided. Not only is the flour bad for you for this reason, but it stripped off everything, the endosperm. You took out the germ, you took out the outer bran, and you're left with that pure carbohydrate, and then you ground it way, way down. And that's what flour is. Flour is a survival food. It was made so that you extract all these things so that now it can last forever. So now you can put it in a sack and you can get it through winter, and you can actually survive through winter. It's a survival food, but now we use it every day. Every day we're addicted to this, and I'll show you how we're addicted to it. So flour, chemicals added, salt, sugar, colorings, sweeteners. Sweeteners are addictive too. I'll show you. Sweeteners are addictive. You know people who are taking diet cokes and they just diet drinks and sodas. They just cannot. Oh yeah, I got off my regular sodas, but now I'm on diet soda. So how much diet soda do you have? I have about 4 of them a day. You know, I just go through the day with my diet sodas. I'm doing. You're addicted. You're addicted because the same sweeteners, such as sucrose, get to the brain, to the dopamine centers, which will come to you in a second, but they stimulate the same place as sugar does. So what happens? The sweet taste in the mouth. So in this case, it's not the calories that are going in there, it's not the sugar that's going to the dopamine center, it's the taste. Insulin is already going to get secreted, and you're already setting up an addiction. So even with these sweeteners, there is a small insulin response. It's a cephalic phase. That sweet taste on your tongue causes all that. And then in anticipation, you become more hungry because you get certain hormones secreted into the bloodstream, such as orexin, for example. But basically, the long and short of it is, diet drinks don't make you lose weight. Diet drinks don't improve your physiology. Diet drinks actually make you more addicted, and you end up eating more and gaining more weight, and your physiology does not get better.
Yeah, just to interject again, talking about sugar, some of the products actually we have with Nature's Sunshine that help people that have blood sugar problems. In our blood sugar formula, one of them is called, and Sugar Reg is a herb called and Mildred, you can help me with this if I say it wrong, gymnema. I think it's called gymnema. We have a product called Sugar Reg or sugar formula, which we use with a lot of diabetes patients. And it takes the taste out of your mouth of anything sweet. And just like he was saying, that taste is in your mouth of sweetness causes, the dopamine to have a hit on your brain and causes the insulin and everything like that. So not just that herb gymnema, is other herbs in there, but I just wanted to mention that one is in there that helps take the sweetness out of your mouth.
You know people who are taking diet cokes and they just diet drinks and sodas. They just cannot. Oh yeah, I got off my regular sodas, but now I'm on diet soda. So how much diet soda do you have? I have about 4 of them a day. You know, I just go through the day with my diet sodas. I'm thinking, you're addicted. You're addicted because the same sweeteners, such as sucrose, get to the brain, to the dopamine centers, which will come to you in a second, but they stimulate the same place as sugar does. So what happens? The sweet taste in the mouth. So in this case, it's not the calories that are going in there, it's not the sugar that's going to the dopamine center, it's the taste. Insulin is already going to get secreted, and you're already setting up an addiction. So even with these sweeteners, there is a small insulin response. It's a cephalic phase. That sweet taste on your tongue causes all that. And then in anticipation, you become more hungry because you get certain hormones secreted into the bloodstream, such as orexin, for example. But basically, the long and short of it is, diet drinks don't make you lose weight. Diet drinks don't improve your physiology. Diet drinks actually make you more addicted, and you end up eating more and gaining more weight, and your physiology does not get better. So that's just another example. We add caffeine and preservatives and processed oils. Caffeine is an addictive substance. Well, I don't have to tell you more about caffeine. You all know about caffeine already, right? Preservatives. These preservatives that are in our food, why do you need a preservative? Why do you need a preservative in the food? Because you're looking for something that's processed, got a long shelf life, right? So they put some chemicals in it, so it'll last forever. Yeah, so you take some of those French fries and you put them out there, and they'll still be there a month later, nothing's happened to them. Nothing. It's still like that. Even the bugs won't eat it. And they don't go bad. Because they've got the wrong oils in them. They got the vegetable seed oils in them that keep them just the way they are. And did you all know that sugar is a preservative? That's why you add sugar to everything. All processed foods have sugar. Why do they have sugar in there? It's not just for your taste, it's because they also want to preserve the food. It's a great preservative. You put something in molasses or sugar, it's going to stay there, right? So it's a preservative as well. Salt is a preservative too. So all these preservatives, and all chemicals that they add to it, the antioxidants and everything else, they all are not unnatural. They are like putting stuff into the mailbox that have a zip code that you've never ever heard of. What does the post office do with it? Doesn't know what to do with it. Body doesn't know what to do with these things. Processed oils. Let me tell you about a little bit of processed oils. You also go and look at some YouTubes on how processed oils are made, such as for any of these vegetable oils. They call them vegetable oils. There's not a single vegetable oil comes from vegetable.
Yeah.
But they call it vegetable oil because you are all suckers. You're going to go and buy rice. Very, very, very good for me. It's vegetable oil, right? It's not animal oil. Because you all have been indoctrinated into thinking that animal oils were bad, because they're saturated, but these are polyunsaturated. But in order to make them, they got to process so many seeds. And from the seeds, they're very high in omega-6, very high in omega-9, and these are pro-inflammatory. Not only are they pro-inflammatory, but they also are addictive. This is something else that nobody knows. If you take rats, I know we are not rats, but I do talk about rats a lot because I read so many studies on rats. And if you give them their food and they're mixed with vegetable seed oils, they're more likely to become addicted to it. By the way, I'll tell you something else. When I was a fellow, we used to do research, and on these rats, you want to create a model for cancer, we used to give them vegetable oils. It grows cancers. Vegetable, if you see the processing of vegetable oil, I promise you, you will not consume vegetable oil anymore. Just go see how it's made. All the chemicals they use and everything and how it's created is terrible. So, full of omega-6. And I think that this is one of the main reasons why a lot of populations who should not be having coronary arteries are having coronary arteries. And the one that, of course, is very close to me is because my ancestry is from India, and in India they use vegetable seed oils now instead of using the previous animal oil, which was ghee. And I think this is one of the main reasons, combined with a high carbohydrate processed food diet, that in India today we have the highest incidence of coronary arteries in the world. It's vegetable seed oils, and they need to change the diet today to go back to eating the oils that they used to eat before. I already mentioned fiber to you. Anytime you take out fiber, it's no longer a food, it's a product. Anytime you even take out fat from it, that's a product. Skim milk is not milk. That's not milk, that's a product. You took out the fat from it. It didn't come like that from the cow or the goat. So these are all products. They're unnatural. They're not supposed to be like that. Show me a cow that gives you milk without fat. There's not one. Highly palatable foods. When the cereals first came out, Dr. Kellogg said, this is the first pre-digested food we have. Yeah, it is pre-digested. It's on your tongue, it's already in your bloodstream. I mean, it's so fast, it's so ultra palatable. It's not supposed to be like that. Who said that it's supposed to be like that? That, oh yeah, it's so processed, so you can just put a cereal in your mouth and it's already causing your blood sugar to go up. Your body is supposed to work on it. That's why we have such a long intestine. Others would have a short little intestine. But we don't have a short intestine. We have a very long intestine. And we have all these different hormones in there. And we have bacteria. And this is a process by which that is supposed to slowly go through before it gets into breads, chips, cookies, all pre-digested foods. They're all pre-digested. And now, let's move on and show. So do these altered foods have a different metabolic process? And yes, they do. I already told you that real food has less insulin production, therefore less obesity, less diabetes, less addiction, and no unnatural combinations and additives, and they are nutrient dense packaging. They have everything in them. They have the fiber, they got all the vitamins in there, and they got the starch in it there as well, all in one package, the way it is found in nature. And then early satiety. Oh, that's very important, early satiety. So early satiety means that you eat that food and you feel full, so you're not going to overeat. You cannot overeat that. If I give you a proper piece of steak, nice one, grass-fed, I bet you if I give you this much, you won't be able to finish it. But if I give you a processed food, you'll keep eating. Half an hour later, you can keep eating. An hour later, you'll come back for more. You'll never be satisfied. You'll never be satisfied when you're eating processed foods. So, how can you get addicted So we now know from animal studies and from other functional imaging studies that there are neurological changes that occur in the brain. Wait a second, you mean to say your brain is being rewired by the processed food? And the answer is yes. So why would nature get you hooked onto processed foods? Why? Why would I get hooked on it? What's so good about it? Well, because they are caloric dense, they're very high in energy, okay? And in a time of caloric density, more than 20,000 years ago, actually more, even more than that, there were no calories around. Man had to forage for himself. He had to make a hunt and kill, so there weren't any calories around. So when there were calories around, there you go. The body said it's going to reward you for finding the calories. But you had to work hard to climb up the tree to get to the honey, or you had to really chase down that wild boar and kill it. And all that energy expenditure, and then you got to get the calories, right? So in the days of caloric scarcity, when these calories came about, the body gave you that reward center. It said, yeah, that was good, because it wants you to get the calories. But your genetic material and how it handles the nutrition hasn't changed in 10,000 years. And now, guess what? We are surrounded by calories all the time. There's calories everywhere. There's calories in your car. There's calories in the elevator. In the elevator, you got to eat while it's going up. You got to take a couple of gulps as well. So, there's calories everywhere. You go home, there's calories. You don't have to wait for anything. Now, this last sentence, I actually borrowed it from one of the books that I was reading, and I can't remember who. It says, you're a cactus in a rainforest. So what that means is, if you're a cactus, you are made for a desert, where you get periodic rain and moisture. You take that cactus and put it in rainforest, what's going to happen? It's going to die. Sooner it's going to get sick, first of all, it's going to get all waterlogged and wimpy, and then it's going to die. And that's what we are today. You're all cactuses that were made for one environment and one type of survival, and now you're in a rainforest where it's just too much, plenty calories all the time. And that is our problem. Too many calories, too many processed foods, all the time, eating too frequently. That's why all of you, I hope you've watched my previous ones on how to fast and the amazing benefits of fasting. You are made to fast, by the way. I say this every day, that your body was supposed to have a hormetic stress on it. A hormetic stress means some sort of a stress. 20,000 years ago, what was the biggest stress? Not having enough food. So one day you eat, one day you don't eat. One day there's plenty food, next day or two there may not be enough food. Okay, so your body was made in that environment, and therefore your physiology is also one where you take calories, then you don't take calories. So then you clean up. You build, you repair, and then you clean up your act, you get a chance to repair your body. That's what it's supposed to be in. So that's what a cactus is, but you're in a rainforest. So what about these processed foods? So nature pre-wired us that if you see lots of calorie-rich foods in the survival era, it goes to the dopamine center. And the dopamine goes, aha, I got it, I'm rewarding you, feel good. That's why you feel so good when you eat junk food. Because you're wired for that. But it doesn't know, the brain doesn't know the difference. So I'm going to show you here. And we have calories everywhere, food is available all the time, more caloric dense than it was 20,000 years ago. Lots of sugar, beets, cane, processed foods, without other components such as fiber, basically naked calories that we have today. And I mentioned earlier on that there are other things that can also affect the brain function. So let me explain something. Overeating downregulates the dopamine, opiate, serotonin, and the cannabinoid pathways in the brain, reduces cognitive function, and increases the stress pathways. So let me explain all this to you. So along comes the sugar, and you take it in, it goes straight to the dopamine center, and you get a little surge. I feel good. You rewarded yourself, you feel fantastic. Next time you eat the sugar, it's going to take a bigger amount of sugar, larger load, to get that same rise. The third time you go and do it, again, more and more. So you develop tolerance. So now it takes more and more to feel good. And that's how you become addicted to it. Now the body, anytime you get something, there's a counter-regulatory mechanism in the body So if you're getting the reward, then guess what? You're going to pay a price. And what price are you going to pay afterwards? So it's a seesaw, right? So you get some reward because you ate all this. Well, guess what? There's a buildup of chemicals in your brain that are going to do the opposite thing, so that eventually get balanced. So the good, you're going to feel bad also. So there's a time lapse in which those chemicals that would make you feel lousy, depressed, tired, sleepy, all those molecules accumulated as the counterbalance. But if you still keep giving yourself a high every few hours, these on this side just continue to accumulate. This was beautifully illustrated in a book. It's called The Dopamine. And I encourage you all to go and read this book. It's fantastic. But it shows you how the constant dopamine hit that we are getting from constantly eating processed foods and all those calories is causing this dopamine center to become more and more less tolerant. So it needs more and more stimulation, and you build up all these chemicals. Now what happens is, if you don't eat that, you got all these chemicals that are built up, which are the opposite of reward. You feel lousy, you feel depressed, you feel irritable, you can't concentrate on anything, basically you're paying the price of that you just had the reward. And why do you get all those rewards? One, you ate the wrong foods. Number two, you ate them too frequently. It's all to do with the brain and how the brain reacts to these things. Now, in a true addiction, what also happens is that there are electrical pathways in the brain that connect from one part of the brain to the other. So the dopamine center has rostral connections that go to the prefrontal cortex, for example. Now, if you're an addict, do you want to have a lot of insight? Does the body want you to have insight into your addiction? That, oh yeah, I'm an addict and I shouldn't be doing this and this is wrong and I'm feeling this. No, it doesn't want you. It wants to make you dumb. So what it does, it downregulates your prefrontal cortex. So when you're eating all these foods, it's just like a junkie who's taking cocaine. He doesn't know. He's got no insight because he's got no frontal lobe function. He has no reasoning power. He has no willpower either to stop. Because his brain has truly changed as a result of the addiction. There are true structural changes and biochemical changes in his brain because of this addiction. Now, whether you're taking cocaine, amphetamine, heroin, cocaine, I already mentioned sugar, preservatives, all the same. Caffeine, all the same. They go to the same center. The brain doesn't know the difference. So the after effect is the same thing. You get that addictive effect, frontal lobe function goes down, your entire brain has actually truly changed. And this is the problem that I'm saying. And hence, that's why when I question these people, I did my residency and we used to see drug addicts. And these guys are behaving like a drug addict. I never believed it until I started reading this book. And this book was all about addiction. And I said, oh my God, this is real. I didn't believe it. I did not believe this was possible until I started reading about it. And now it is so well established. But unfortunately, it's going to take years before people realize this. So the stress pathway, which is the opposite pathway of the reward, causes cortisol secretion. And it also causes other hormonal secretions as well, and creates a stress pathway. Now, if you look around you, stress is ubiquitous. Everyone's stressed out. Now, I know that life is stressful, but I say to you that part of the stress response is also the food that you're eating. All these comfort foods cause stress also. So you may feel comfort for a while. Well, guess what? You're going to be really stressed out later on. And we know that from caffeine already. You feel really good. There's always a price to pay. Your energy goes down. After 2 to 3 hours, your energy goes down. There's always a price to pay. The body is a homeostatic mechanism, right? Homeostasis, which means that there's a seesaw. Everything has to balance out. You get a little reward, there's a price to pay afterwards. No wonder people are depressed. No wonder they can't function so well. No wonder they. This is all because of addiction. This is all because of addiction. Now there is life in stress too. But I'm telling you that the food is one of the reasons.
Okay, just to give you a little more insight, I have a chart and I'm going to send it out to class. It have the best sugars and then it have like regular sugar, and then it tells you about uh, alternative sugars, which are like chemical sugars, the sucralose, not sucralose, the
Yucky.
I can't think what's the name of aspartame and a lot of others like that. Those are the like substitute sugars.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the
Artificial.
some of the better or alternative sugars, and I got a list I'm gonna send y'all. Top of the list is like uh, stevia, is like maybe rice sugar, is xylitol, 100% maple syrup. That's something that we use in our house a lot, and sugars like that. Also, a list of oils. I know I sent this last year, but in case some of y'all now don't have this list of oils, I have the best oils, which is monosaturated or monounsaturated oils, and it goes down to polyunsaturated, which he was talking about, and then also saturated, which is the worst kind of oils to intake. So, any comments?
I really enjoyed the comments from the man. Can you send that to us? That's on. Is that available?
The video?
Your speaker.
Yeah, the video. He's I could send you his channel. Yeah, I could send you. He's on YouTube.
Oh,
Yeah, I'll send the name. Somebody asked for his name. I'll send his name. I'll send my sugar list, the oil list he was talking about. But I mean, this is, you know, I kind of already knew a lot about, this, maybe some of y'all too, that, this food is addictive. And I wrote an article on sugar, and I used to talk about 100 ways sugar ruins your health. 100 ways sugar ruins your health. It's like over 100 really different illnesses. Cardiovascular is one. I mean, it's so many. Sugar can change the DNA in your body. Like he said, it affects the hormones, it affects the brain. You just think about somebody that was on drug addiction and people that are hooked on these processed foods, you can have some of the same symptoms. So I'm going to send this out to class on the sugar list, the oil list. Dr. Pridip, I don't know how to say his name right. So I'm going to send his name. And anybody else have anything? So next week, I'll just say again, I'm going to be celebrating Veterans Day. I'm going to have a celebration for Veterans Day. The class is right on Veterans Day. I had a friend pass away, for those that don't know. He was on my first ship. He was a real good friend of mine. I was a friend of his family. And in the Navy, when I came in, he kind of, took me by the hand and showed me the ropes back in the day, how to get around, and me and him, just having fun in San Diego. So it kind of prompted me to do this celebration, in honor of him and all the other veterans that are out there and that you all may know. If you do, you can invite them, share the link with them, because I'm going to be celebrating veterans. And they'll be talking about telling some of the things, that inspired them, I guess, to be in the military, or things that they did in the military and things of that sort. So if nobody else have anything, you want to pray us out, Betty?
Yes. Father, we come to you in the name of Jesus. We thank you for each and every one on this Zoom call tonight. Lord, bless each and every one that was in attendance. Bless those that wasn't able to make it. We thank you for the information that we received to take care of these temples that you've blessed us with. And we'll forever be grateful and thankful for all the things you do for us. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen.